Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano. I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission is weight loss. Why did I gain back all that weight I lost? That's a question that is very commonly asked to me. Now, last year I went on a really, I don't want to say severe health kick, but I really focused on a lifestyle that would work for me. And that's the key in losing weight. A lot of people come to me and they say, Marcus, I saw you lost the weight. I lose weight and I gain it right back, and I do these radical, they don't say radical, but I think they're radical. I do these radical diets, these radical cleanses, these fasts, these gimmicks, and I take the weight off, but then I gain it back. And the reality is a lot of times you gain more of the weight back, okay? Now, a year ago, I decided to go on the 80-10-10 diet. Douglas Graham's 80-10-10 diet. It's a high carbohydrate diet, 80 standing for 80% carbohydrates. Yes, 80% carbohydrates, 10% fat, and 10% protein. And usually a lot of people are on the opposite. I know a lot of people that are on these paleo diets, that are on these low carbohydrate diets, and it's like, okay, I'm going to restrict all my carbohydrates, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, then I'm going to work my carbohydrates back in, and then all of a sudden I find myself I've gained 25 pounds. So now it's time to cut all my carbohydrates out again and lose another 20 pounds to gain another 20 or 25 back or 15 back. And it's this continuous roller coaster these people are on, especially with restricting carbohydrates. Your body needs carbohydrates. We run on carbohydrates. Our brain runs on carbohydrates. It's our fuel. It's what we're designed to eat, okay? Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are our fuel. But the right kind of carbohydrate is key. If you look at Dr. McDougall, I love his program, I love what he has, and he has what's called the starch solution. It's all starches, it's beans, it's rice, it's potatoes, it's wheat, it's starches. That's his form of carbohydrates. And he runs a very successful practice helping people lose weight and reverse diseases through a high starch diet. Same thing with like Dr. Clapper, Dr. Greger. There's a lot of doctors out there. Even Dean Ornish's diet that's been used since 1979 for reversing heart disease in 30 days is a high carbohydrate diet. It's a low fat, 10% fat, 10% protein, 80% carbohydrates. So all these doctors that are curing people, that are helping people, that are making a difference in their patients' lives are all prescribing that same macronutrient. Whether they know it or not, that's the macronutrients that their diets are around. Now, first of all, we have way too much protein in our diet, okay? Dr. Mercola, who is on the Weston Price theory, Weston Price logic, which means you need to eat a certain amount of cheese or milk, raw, unhomogenized, and grass-fed beef. Even he admits that he only has a small amount of beef a week, like one portion. I've heard him say. That's all you need. You don't need meat every day. You don't need all that protein every single day. If you were to have protein, if you think you need animal protein every day, the reality is all you need is like 2 ounces of chicken breast. That's it. That's it. That's a small little piece. That fulfills your protein requirements for the day. But what a lot of people don't understand is that everything has protein. Everything. Broccoli, kale, beans, rice, wheat. Yes, wheat. I'm not talking about white refined wheat, so you can't eat Wonder Bread and think you're getting protein in Wonder Bread, okay? But whole wheat has protein. Some whole wheats have up to 20-22% protein, okay? Grains loaded with protein. All this is a protein overload on our body. By the time you have eggs and toast and then lunch, like a tuna sandwich, and then a chicken at night and steak at night or whatever, you're on such an overload of protein. Your body does not need all that protein. So what does your body need? Your body needs carbohydrates. Your body needs fuel. Our body runs on carbohydrates. Point proven with Dr. McDougall's program and all these other doctors' programs. Carbohydrates are our friends. So I see these people that all of a sudden want to restrict carbohydrates, trick their body into going into ketosis and start burning fat. Here's what I did. I went on the high carb diet. I went on mostly raw. To begin with, it was mostly raw. I love cooked food. I chose to do, I've been plant-based for a long time, but I was a high-fat plant-based, which means I had a lot of fat in my diet. I ate a lot of coconut. I ate a lot of like chocolate macaroons and vegan desserts, which I love. But I was eating way too much of that. I was eating stuff cooked in oil. Even though I was cooking in coconut oil, it was still being cooked in oil. So on the 80-10-10 program, when you follow that kind of macronutrient, whether it's Douglas Graham's or any other breakdown of 80-10-10, what those diets are restricting you from is added oil. No more salad dressing based out of oil, okay? You think you're eating a heart-healthy salad with salad dousing it with olive oil? Look at Dr. Clapper. Look up Dr. Clapper, K-L-A-P-E-R. He has some great stuff on heart-healthy and how olive oil is not heart-healthy, and putting on a salad is the worst thing you could possibly do. So I chose a plan for me. 80-10-10 was an easy way, because we all love carbohydrates, right? I know so many people that say, I love carbohydrates, I love this, I love bread, I love this. Then why are you giving it up? Why in the world would you want to give something up that your body craves? But you need to find a healthier version of what you're doing, because a lot of times we're not eating the right kind of carbohydrates. So it needs to be rice, beans, potatoes, and not baking potatoes, but like heirloom potatoes, like Yukon potatoes, red potatoes, fingerling potatoes, sweet potatoes. Oh my gosh, I love sweet potatoes. My kids live on sweet potatoes. I could live on sweet potatoes. Are awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I do eat a lot of greens in my diet. I try to shoot for about a pound of greens a day, whether it's spinach, dandelion, kale, something, about a pound a day, and typically in the raw form, which means it's going in my smoothies or a nice salad with either just straight an aged vinegar or grapefruit juice or something on it that's not that has no fat in it. So I say to these people that are craving these carbs, just eat the right kind of carbs and cut out the fat in your diet. The added fat is the killer. For me, that was the killer right there. I was eating a lot of excessive, unnecessary, refined and unrefined fats. I would eat a pound of cashews at a time, even though they were raw and organic. I was eating a pound of cashews, a pound of almonds. Now all of a sudden, to get into that 80-10-10, that 10% of fat in my diet, I had to start monitoring my foods. So for 2 months, I uploaded my foods every single day onto an app called Spark People. It's a website you can get on your phone as an app, sparkpeople.com, and it broke down my macronutrients. And after 2 months of doing that, I was like, okay, I know how many nuts I can have in a day. I know I can have like 6 to 12 almonds. I know I can have, X amount of this, X amount of that. I know that eating this certain food is going to bring me over the threshold. I know like I can eat a half an avocado as long as I've had, plenty of other kind of high quality carbs in my diet. So yeah, so I wasn't giving up avocados, I wasn't giving up nuts, I was just monitoring how much I was eating. For that, it was easy for me because I love fruit. I love pasta, I love rice, I love beans, I love potatoes. Well, I was losing weight like crazy last year. I was eating 800 to 1,000 calories a day on potatoes alone. Potatoes alone. And people are like, oh my gosh, I could never eat potatoes, I'd gain weight. It's not the potatoes, it's the fattening steak you're eating, it's the chicken that's fried, it's the chicken wings, it's all the other stuff, it's the cheese that you like on your pizza, it's all the other stuff that you think, but you're blaming the potatoes, you're blaming the Yukon potatoes, you're blaming the rice, you're blaming the carbohydrates. Yeah, if you're eating Wonder Bread and you're eating donuts, yeah, that's totally the blame. But in reality, the stuff that you're pointing to blame and the stuff that you're avoiding now, all those whole foods, those whole natural foods, are your friends. Those are absolutely your friends. That's what you need to be focusing on. You need to go back. If you're going to be eating meat, you need to really cut that meat consumption way down, and really focus on maybe just getting rid of it off your diet. Just getting rid of it altogether. Or focusing on maybe 1 or 2 days a week of having smaller portions, because your body just doesn't need that much protein. It's just such an overload of protein. When you look at mother's milk for humans, from 0 to 6 months is the time that your body grows the most. You're going to double your body weight. At no other time in your life do you require that much protein. That's as a fact, okay? When you grow, you need protein. Bodybuilders consume protein because they're building muscle and they're growing, right? 0 to 6 months, you're going to double your body weight. There's no other time in your life in 6 months that you can double your body weight. That is the time that you need the most protein, okay? Period. Most protein, 0 to 6 months. Mother's milk is 4% protein. 4%. That's right, 4%. You're doubling your body weight. You're growing massively. You're fueling your brain. You're doing everything right for your body at 0 to 6 months on 4% protein. So why in the world, at 20 years old, at 40 years old, at 60 years old, do you need to be consuming excessive amounts of protein? There's no reason for it. There's no logic, there's no reason. The only logic in it is that the beef industry and the dairy industry are the ones that are brainwashing you to think that you need beef for dinner. You need milk. I go to a lot of basketball games because my son plays basketball, and we go to a lot of other schools. And every single school gymnasium, there's a huge poster for milk. Milk, it does the body good. It's what your body needs. It grows strong bones. Isn't it? It's amazing because the Dairy Council is the one that's giving the schools these posters and sponsoring the books for health and writing the literature. It's the dairy industry. It's not conclusive science that's doing it. No, it's the dairy industry. It's the money these people have in it. That's the only thing that makes sense, is for the bottom line of the beef industry, the dairy industry, the pork council, whatever it is. That's the only thing that makes sense. As far as your body, look at your body, what your body did best on 0 to 6 months. 4% protein, okay? You weren't adding fat into your diet at that point. You weren't adding all these other things into your diet, and that's when you grew the most. Point blank, period, end of discussion on that. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano. I want to really go on with this. So there's just so much to say in this. So you really need to pick a plan. 80-10-10 worked for me. That my plan might not work for you. You might want to go the McDougall approach. Do a lot of research. I love Gary Null, N-U-L-L, Gary Null, N-U-L-L. Read his work. He has a ton of work on weight loss, detoxification, positive thinking, health in general, exercise. He's got a ton of information out there. I found him, and that's what really transformed my life years and years ago. But then over the years, I started gaining the weight back because I became just complacent. It took me several years to gain all the weight back that I lost years and years ago. But now I'm a full year in. I'm still down. I went from 220 pounds to I bottomed out at 183. That was only for like a day I hit at 183. As of this morning, a year later, I'm at 187. Okay, I'm 6 feet tall, 187. I do run a lot, but I lost. Interesting thing, people say, Marcus, you lost that weight because you ran. Last year, when I lost the majority of the weight, the first 2 months of last year, I wasn't running nearly as much. I was running the same that I've ran the last 10 years. That was the same running schedule, okay? So I did not lose the weight running. Because I lost all the weight, I became a better, a more efficient runner, and I enjoyed it more, which made me run more. So the weight loss came first before all the running did last year, because last year I did run 2,000 miles last year. That's the equivalent of New York City to Aspen, Colorado. Maybe a little beyond Aspen. But the weight loss came in January and February. Was my most weight loss. Those are my 2 lightest months of running. So that theory was busted, because people say, oh, Marcus, you do that because it's easy if you run all that. I don't have time to run like you do. And I couldn't lose weight like you do. So no, I lost it because I got rid of all the excessive fat. I watched what I was eating. And the great thing is, what I eat is what I love eating, okay? I love eating a whole watermelon. I love eating a big bowl of potatoes. I love eating a vegetarian chili. I love eating bananas. I love eating 6, 7, 8 bananas in my smoothie. I love eating a handful of dates, a handful of figs. I love eating 4, 5, 6 mangoes. I love eating 2 cantaloupes. That, for me, I love all that kind of stuff, so it's perfect for me. I love eating a half a pound of pasta with a fresh tomato sauce with no added oil in it, okay? So when I cook foods, I don't use sauteed oil. I don't saute with oil. If I do, it's a smallest amount possible. So I picked a plan that worked for me. So all of a sudden there's no, like, in 6 months, oh, I got to eliminate this out of my diet and again do a crash course and try to just knock off 10 more pounds. It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that at all. So check out 80-10-10, check out McDougall, check out Raw Till 4, rawtill4.com. Durian Ryder and Freely have a great program where you eat raw food all day long, raw high carbohydrate diet all day long. And then you can have a cooked meal at night, because people say, Marcus, I can't do away with my cooked meal. Raw Till 4 is a phenomenal program. It's, from what I understand, it's very similar to the Diamonds program. Remember the Diamonds program, Fit for Life, from the 70s, the late 70s? They wrote a book that, all fruits and veggies till a certain time of the day, and then you can eat. They had a great program, and that book was really inspired by Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins pushed them to write that book, which was really, I found interesting, because Tony Robbins is a vegetarian. I think he's vegan. For most of the part, and really pushes a high energy diet. He's really on his game on nutrition. I was really impressed for a motivational speaker like him that he understands nutrition like the way he does. But he pushed the Diamonds to write that book and coached them, and they wrote that very successful book, Fit for Life, and there's even a new version of it out now. So I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano. Pick a plan that you can stick to, that's realistic, that's not going to starve your body and make you go crazy. These people that are on these no carbohydrate diets, some of them are just like, oh my gosh, I can't take it. I need a carbohydrate. I need this. Because your body needs carbohydrates. Your body needs it. It doesn't need all that protein. Think back at 0 to 6 months. Think back, that was the time you ate the perfect food. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano. Thanks for watching my video. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them below.